guys are getting educated, we will be in big trouble.
Management's been weighing you down like a bag of wet catalogs, but you don't gotta take it. You strap on the elbow of education, dig it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God, we need Article 8 scholars right now. The grievous genius and the Roseville Wrecking Ball doing amazing work.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.
Good morning, and welcome back to Parcels of Knowledge. That is the new theme song. Hopefully you guys like it. I also got a new outro. I'm proud of both of them. I think they're both pretty good. I don't know which one I want in the front and which one I want in the back, but I don't know. Maybe you can leave some commentary. Tell me how cheesy it is or how good it is or bad. But either way, I do want to talk about the fact that this episode is for Roseville. Now, other people can tune in. That is absolutely fine. I just want to lay down the fact that if you are to provide me commentary on my episode for this time, I'd like it to stick to what I could do better in terms of giving this information to my members, rather than what we did wrong for the year or what we could have done better, because I know there's different situations for different people, so I don't want any of that kind of stuff. But this is mostly for Roseville. It's going to be an end-of-the-year review about what we accomplished over the year as a steward and as stewards of the branch or of the installation. And I usually do this by letter and give it to them Christmas Eve with a lottery ticket. Man, not Christmas Eve, it's the Christmas party. Today's the Christmas party, by the way. But today I'll be doing an episode instead because I don't have the time or the money. I normally put a lottery ticket in there. I'm not even going to have the lottery ticket this time around. But yeah, so this is going to be about the end of the year synopsis, what we've done and what we could do in the future. So I'm going to start with 2025 has certainly been a busy year. We've done more grievances than any other year. This is our record year. It's 578 at the current moment, but I'm sure it can easily get to 600 depending on what happens the following 2 weeks. Now, since I became steward in 2022, we have filed over 1,500 grievances, 1,400 of them being from 2023 and beyond when I became chief steward. Since becoming chief steward, it has been an honor being chief steward here at Roseville. I'm proud of everything we do, and we have secured $137,000 for the members in terms of violations and trying to make sure management is doing what they're supposed to be doing. One thing I want to make clear is I am here for clear and consistent contract enforcement. I am going to represent you to my fullest, whether you like me or not. All stewards of this installation take their obligations seriously, whether it's the duty of fair representation, consistent enforcement of our labor agreement, avoiding even the appearance of self-serving behavior, or wearing the union label, or the requirement of continuing our education. And this year, we're going to have a new steward sworn in. Jeff Krula, of course, if you probably already know this, but Jeff Krula is stepping down to becoming an alternate, and he's allowing Brandon Arnone, a brand new steward, the ability to step in and show us his potential. And I'm excited for his future. I think he's going to do very well. Now, I'm going to be giving you guys statements for what you should have made. If you didn't make that amount on your adjustments, make sure you come to me. I will do an audit in my free time. I do it for the love of it. You know, I make sure management gives us everything we're supposed to get. Last year's audits provided carriers over $1,000 in missed settlement awards back. That's why I have office hours between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. 4 days a week. I commit to doing everything I can, even if it's on my own time. Now, one thing is abundantly clear to me. Although we have filed a lot of grievances, most violations do go underreported. The reason why we file is to incentivize management not to violate in the future. One of the most important duties of a member or a steward is the duty of bearing witness. If you want to help us continue to serve you in our fullest, feel free to report to us any issue that may be a violation, and we will take care of it right away. Remember, true commitment doesn't end at bearing witness. We may need your help in establishing a burden of proof, such as we may need you to write a statement. Together, we can show the value solidarity can bring to the table. And with that, I am going to go into our statistics. 2025 at a glance. Your chief steward was always Joshua Shrum. That is the Roseville Wrecking Ball. That is me. Your second steward was Jeff Krula. Alternate stewards were Joe Fayed, Lori Fayed, and Emil Daniels. Total grievance count so far, 578. Now, just to let you know, I normally cut it off by now, but our branch president told us no. So, I like to have this thing put together. It's not going to be put together till probably March because there probably is going to be things settling. So we got plenty of settlements still pending. So sometimes these numbers won't add up equally to 578 because there's a lot of things pending. There's a lot of things that were put together into other grievances. So like I might have 10 grievances. Management said, hey, can I do one settlement? I usually say no, but there are times where we may make that exception as a compromise to get something out of it. So total cost to the service for not complying with the contract for the year is $32,074.53. I imagine this will go up because we have a pending EP case where I do intend to win, and I bet that's going to be a lot of money. But this is equivalent to 72% of a CCA's salary if they worked only 40 hours per week for the whole year. I'd say that's pretty good, but we could do better. Last 2 years we got 50,000, so it's all dependent on management violating the contract. I'm kind of proud about the fact that they violated less. Not very happy that we got our members less, but still, it's the thought that counts. We're supposed to make the violations go down. We have 5 arbitration cases that have been in past that have not been met on because, of course, those things take like 42 years before the NBA gets the chance to actually meet on them. We have 24 Step Bs with an 80% win rate and 3 left to resolve. Now, keep in mind, we only represent 10% of the branch's population, but we sort of represent 80% of the Step B cases that are appealed. So that's something to be proud of. I know some people might say, hey, what a good steward might not have any grievances, or maybe they'll settle it Formal A or below. No, it's not really the case here. Everybody knows that currently the Pooms are calling the shot, or someone above. The problems we have are mostly from above, so there's no way we could get by without Step B appeals. It's just not possible because they think unrealistically. Now we had 231 informal A's and 79 formal A's so far when it comes to settlements. By NALC designee, Joe Fayed had 12 grievances. Jeff Krula had 64 grievances. I had 494 grievances. Lori Fayed had 4 grievances. And Nicole Wheatley had 1. Nicole Wheatley is our current vice president. She was brought over to serve as Formal A for my own discipline by recommendation of the branch. So that's why she has the 1. She was certified for just the 1 case, which we'll talk about that case later on because she's mentioned because it's a discipline case. Most common grievances of areas of primary noncompliance. So these will be grievances that have been violated the most over the year. Article 8.5D, which I consider improper mandation. We've had 78 occurrences with a total cost of $4,085.28. This is more than last year because of management's mismanagement of pivots. This is mostly pivots. It's like 30 minutes at a time, and it's because management thought that person could get done within 8, and then they don't. So that's why the dollar amount hasn't been as big as it used to in the past. Article 8.5 violations. This is limitations. We've had 7 occurrences with a total cost of $134. Our current precedent is 50% premium. If they continue to violate, escalation might be warranted in the upcoming year. Article 17 violations. This is violations of steward time. 6 occurrences with a total cost of $868.47. Article 17 and 31. This is information for steward requests. We've only had 3 occurrences with a total cost of $45. We have a $15 rotating payment that we share with our 1723 violations, and we currently are at rotation 5. We had 3 emergency placements, which have paid out over $10,000 with 1 yet unresolved. We have 100% success rates with emergency placements this year so far, if you don't count the unresolved case. So that's something to be proud of. I do believe we also have 100% success rate with removals, and that is also something to be proud of. We have paid $11,166 for undelivered mail missed opportunities this year. What that means is we've had plenty of times where management did not get the mail delivered, and they've agreed to pay people up to their limitations for the mail that should have been delivered by the ODL. We have 80 cases of Article 15 non-compliance at $4,400. We also changed our precedent to include the Save $25 remedy if they do not supply the receipt within 30 days. So if they, prior to this precedent, management would have to pay $25 after 30 days of the settlement date, but sometimes they would pay it but wouldn't give us the receipt. So we basically signed a settlement saying that failure to supply the receipt within 30 days is equivalent to the same remedy. So even if they paid it, they didn't supply us with the receipt, so they put us through the unreasonable motions of filing a grievance because we didn't know it got paid. And then it come to find out it did get paid. So that's what that's about. Now we also have, plenty of other cases. This year we have had crossing crafts was a big one. Mostly CCAs throwing parcels. And that has happened 164 days this year. From January to July, I considered all those 7.2s into one grievance about staffing, because this is ridiculous and is a result of lack of staffing on the clerk side. I have since gotten denied the staffing issue, but approved. Step B agreed there was a violation of 7.2. So since then, we've been doing a daily violation of 7.2. We kind of scrapped the staffing idea because it looks like, even though I proved the case, it looks like our Step B is not going to support it. So sometimes you got to work within the boundary that you have. Rest assured, we are filing a daily violation for this, and it continues to happen, so we're going to make sure it stops. There were many falsification and mutual respect violations this year. We look forward to stay vigilant on that issue. We caught management stealing in the beginning of the year, but they haven't done it since. They would punch people out prior to the end of their shift. It was very minimal. I think it was a total of a handful of hours, maybe 6 hours total at maybe like 0.47 at a time. It was usually when people got into penalty. And we did fix that. It's not happening anymore. Observation forms continue to be done wrong, and we're addressing that as well. In 2026, we will be addressing issues with management and 3996s and the fact that they don't fill them out right or give us a correct disposition. And we will continue to stay on management about this issue of undelivered mail. That's going to be a big deal because it is one of the most important aspects of our job. We've had plenty of leave issues just like in the last year, specifically improper leave denial or blanket policies. We also have had a whole lot of memorials about settlements that we have settled in 2005, re-acknowledging the fact that they're precedent setting. Currently, we're trying to memorialize the fact that job discussions will be held in the conference room or the manager's office. And, you know, we've had that problem a little bit where the new ones are trying to talk to people on the floor. They know better. They know better than that. But now we move on to our last and final topic, discipline. The total number of discipline cases for the year is 19. And the way we do these figures here, I'm just going to break this down so that everyone understands what I'm talking about here, because it sounds ridiculous if you don't understand. If you reduce a discipline is 2 years by default. Let's say you reduce it down to a 6-month letter warning from a 2-year letter warning to a 6-month. That equivalates to 18 months of reduction, a year and a half. So that is kind of how we calculate everything. If you have a 7-day and management moves straight to removal, that is 4 years worth of discipline that was jumped over. If it gets expunged, we consider that 48 months, we consider that 4 years if it goes back down to 7-day, because we basically took you down from removal from 14-day down to 7-day. So that's how we calculate things here. And that's the way we're going to be talking about it. Total number of disciplines for the year, 19. The prior 4 years in comparison are 2024, we had 24 cases, so it looks like we've gone down. 2023, we had 14. That was a good year. 2022, 33 cases. And 2021, 24 cases. So we're at 19, kind of average. If we go back before 2021, we were getting a lot of cases. That's because they would go out and do these weird things where, like, let's say they think about backing or seatbelts, they would go out and find everybody without a seatbelt or everybody without that would back and issue discipline to every single one. They haven't done that in a long time. But average time reduced for discipline is 18.71 months. So if a discipline is 2 years on average, basically everyone's getting it down to 6 months. Some people are being expunged. That's just being put into the calculation as an average. Total time reduced for the entire year, 29.59 years. Now, we have reduction numbers by NALC designee. The Wrecking Ball had 3 cases, reduced them by 7 years. Joe Fayad, he had 8 cases, reduced them by 12.13 years. By the way, Joe Fayad has the record for most amount of discipline reduced. He is a bulldozer when it comes to discipline. We need to give him thanks because over the years, he's been a longtime steward. He's been chief steward before. Over the years, he have reduced discipline by over 200 years. He is a bulldozer when it comes to discipline. We value him a lot. Now, Jeff Krula, he had 6 cases. He reduced it by 8.5 years. And Nicole Wheatley, like I said before, she had the 1 case. Management has been retaliatory about my grievances and has been trying to retaliate by issuing me discipline. There's been 2 cases of letter of warnings this year. One of them was handled by Nicole Wheatley at Formal A. The other was handled by me. I appealed it to Step B, and I got that case expunged and rescinded because it was completely unfounded. Same with the case that Nicole Wheatley handled. She got that expunged and rescinded at Formal A because it was completely unfounded. Management is just being a little bit retaliatory right now, and they don't like the amount of grievances we've been filing. Basically, the people above them are getting them in trouble for things, and then we are also filing a lot of grievances, so the pressure is on us. They're not going to get mad at their boss. They're going to get mad at the union. So, I just ask you to stand by me while I deal with that and have my back as I've had yours. And I don't anticipate anything I can't handle. But regardless, we'll deal with it as it comes. Now, I did have to stop doing our website, but I do want to talk about the fact that I will be implementing a new website in the upcoming months, and it's going to have a lot of pictures on it, just like the last one. So we're gonna have something up soon, and pretty soon we're also gonna have a binder in our break room of all the important settlements that were class action that I'd like to share after I redact anything that's personal. And don't forget, I will be giving you your each individual financial statements so that you can compare them to the adjustments on your paycheck. If you feel anything's off, all I need is all your paychecks. It could be digital. You can send that to me by phone or by email. My phone number is 586-209-1902, and my email is rosevillewreckingball@yahoo.com. And I will do an audit for you. I'll do it very quickly, and we'll figure out whether or not you got paid right for the year, and I'll figure out exactly what you should be owed. But just make sure you come back to me in a timely manner. We'll take care of it. Now, that's it for today when it comes to the synopsis. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me anything. I got one message for not only Roseville, but for everybody that could have been listening in anyway. We do have Debbie Dixon coming on. This is the final call for questions. I might do one more episode before, but it's not guaranteed. So this could be the final call. So as you already know, things have gotten a little bit muddier. She has been fired as RAA because of the fact that she's running on the CLC slate. She's not the only one, but she just so happens to be coming on the podcast in the beginning of January. So feel free to submit to me any questions you have for this candidate, and she will answer anything. Now, hopefully you learned something valuable today. I know it's not a typical educational episode, but as always, I hope you guys have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
Joshua Shrum. He is a very talented steward, very knowledgeable.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. This is one of those podcasts where I listen to every episode. I love what he's putting out there.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. Josh Shrum. Parcels of Knowledge. Does a fantastic job with that podcast.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God. We need Article 8 scholars right now.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.